watched the two fourth grade videos, and the SMP that I saw the most was number 6, Attentive Precision. In the first episode, the students were lining up in two different groups, from greatest to least or least to greatest, depending on their group, and based on what number they had on their whiteboard. And they were all in their line. When they had kind of stopped moving around, the teacher told the students to make sure they were in the right spot. And so they all looked around to the person on either side of them to make sure that their numbers in between those two. And a little boy even looked at the other end of the line, and he had a different perspective, so he was able to see that there was a few numbers mixed up. So he helped them. He didn't just double check where he was supposed to be, he helped the other students double check as well. In the second video I watched, the students were working on a math problem where it was a subtraction problem that had been regrouped into an addition problem. And halfway during they were working on it, the teacher got up and said, just a reminder, you guys are saying this is easier, but I want an explanation. Like, why is it easier? I want you to come up with the reasoning behind it. So this had the students go back and kind of double check their work to make sure that they knew how to explain it and that their explanation matched up with their work. So they were double checking, coming up with an explanation. And after the teacher said this, I saw a ton of erasing by the students because they were trying to get their equations to match up with their explanations. And I think this is prominent because math is one of those subjects that if one number is wrong or just a simple little mistake, a student gets going too fast, it can make the whole equation wrong. And I just think precision is important to help remind the kids to just kind of take a step back, slow down, or to re-look at something. And the SMP that I didn't really notice being used was number 5, use appropriate tools strategically. The students weren't really given an option to pick what they wanted to use. They were just kind of given their tools. And the second video, they're able to choose a little bit. They were told they could either use base 10 blocks or draw their base 10 frames, but they were only given those two options. And I think it's important for the students to be able to choose out of a few different tools to pick, so then they can use one that they are comfortable with if it's a problem they don't know how to do, or they can choose something they want to learn how to use more. And I think this might not have really been used because with the first lesson, manipulatives and tools didn't really go with the lesson, and they weren't really given options to pick. And in the second one, I think the teacher was just kind of wanting them to use that specific tool instead of giving them an option. But I learned a lot about SMPs watching these videos.